Well, Mike, first impressions as you study Arizona, what do you see on film?
Really good defense. Just even watching both the Oregon first game against Oregon, what they did. I mean, slowing down probably the most lethal and probably most talented attack in all of college football. And even in that second game, I mean, it was tough sledding there for a while. And then, the Heisman Trophy winner won the Heisman that night. So we got a great challenge ahead of us. I mean, there's a lot of really good film to study. It's a common opponent from my time at Stanford. Same defensive coordinator from playing them 2 years ago. Does a great job. Jeff Castile and that staff, and have familiarity with what they do. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they're playing physical. They're flying around to the football. Their back end's playing well. Secondary, it's our greatest challenge of the season. There's no doubt about that.
You've watched the rise of this thing under Rich Rodriguez, being at Stanford. What have you seen that staff do to kind of rejuvenate that program the last couple of years?
I think that I know how they are. I mean, they practice as hard as anybody out in there in college football. Just from hearing kind of the way that Coach Rodriguez operates, they practice extremely hard. So our goal out here is to keep up that tempo and try to simulate the speed that they play at, on game day. And we know what they're doing at practice, and we're trying to be just as intense and give them something to in terms of our tempo and our pace. We're excited about the challenge because we know we're playing one of the faster teams out there in college football.
You heard 27 tackles for loss, 6 forced fumbles, whatever, 14, 15 sacks. You think that's a guy's career, and it's Scooby Wright's season. I mean, what is he on film? What have you seen from him?
I'll tell you what. I mean, he just plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, we've played a couple guys this year that I thought very highly of as football players. Really the Zach Vigil, him from very similar players, extremely instinctive players. Now, Scooby's bigger, he's a little more physical, but same kind of guy. I mean, the guy just seems like he's always in the right place at the right time, those critical moments. He's had a lot of signature moments on the season, and I would attribute that to his his nature of being a student of the game. He's a guy that truly knows the game. He gets very quick reads on run-pass conflict. I mean, obviously he sees it every day from their offense. So he does a great job of identifying what you're trying to do and being in the right place at the right time. And when he gets there, he's extremely physical player.
I mean, there's probably not very many guys where you literally make your game plan around trying to stop one guy. I mean, how much of what you got is he a part of what you guys are paying attention to?
I mean, honestly, I think that they play very well together, all 11 guys. I think he's definitely the anchor to that. He plays down everybody always says that both offense and defense, and even in other sports, you want to be built well down the middle, and so he's a guy that anchors the middle of their defense and makes a lot of plays because their defensive line does a great job of eating up blocks, and he gets to play over the top of them. So I think he's a guy that you got to certainly think about, but their scheme is such that you can't really truly just game plan for him. You can't just say we're going to run this scheme to mess with Scooby Wright, because I mean they move him around as well. He's a really good edge rusher as well, and but he's not their only player on defense that flashes now. I mean, they got some guys that really look good on defense. They're playing well, and I like watching this defense, and they've improved tremendously in the last couple of years, but I think that they have a lot of really good pieces to what they're doing.
Their overall numbers, you look at the overall where they rank, aren't great. Is that just because of the offenses they're going?
They played Oregon twice.
Yeah.
Anybody plays Oregon twice, that's going to be a pretty good sample size. When you just look at the teams that they played, holding UCLA. I think UCLA scored 17 points against them. That's one of the more dynamic offenses in college football. They had some early shootouts when they were finding themselves, a win at Cal. But the mark of a great football team, which they are, they're a 10-win football team, one of the best conferences in all of college football. I mean, the mark of the great team is finding ways to win, and I think we've done the same thing. It hasn't always been pretty on either side of the ball, but the mark of a team that should be playing in a game like this is that you find a way to win.
What's kind of unique about the 3-3-5, and what kind of different challenges maybe does that present versus a 3-4-4-3 kind of defense?
Yeah, I feel like we've played every variety of three down front team. I mean, I feel like our conference is almost the proving grounds and the testing grounds of the various odd stack and 3-4 combination defenses. Probably the closest similarity would be San Diego State, but they've even kind of evolved to play more 3-4 principles. Coach Castile plays some very pure 3-3-5 principles, and they do it really well. They're not, they have some multiplicity to what they do, but they also, they base out of what they base in, and they do it really well. And obviously they'll have some wrinkles. They have, anytime you have a month or 3 weeks to prepare for a game, you're going to have some pretty good stuff to bring to the table. So we're going to be able to adjust on the fly, but we do know what they've done, and quite honestly, it's gotten them 10 wins in one of the more rigorous schedules in all college football. So we're looking forward to the challenge of facing that defense.
How much will an interesting matchup will Jay and Scooby be? I mean, obviously Jay's been outstanding for pass protection this year. Scooby's got to the quarterback quite a bit. You think will they meet up in the backfield at all? You think?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup. I mean, anytime you build a matchup on a Mike linebacker and a tailback, usually it's never quite as as many one-on-one opportunities as you'd think, because you'd hope that you'd account for the Mike linebacker in most of your blocking schemes, and that's something that we hope to do. Now he plays well off the blocks and does a good job playing over the top of blocks, but I think in pass protection, like you mentioned, that's where you'll probably see some pretty good matchups. And he's a violent pass rusher, he's a savvy pass rusher, he understands leverage, he understands angles, but Jay does too, and it'll be a good on good matchup. There's no doubt.
What are the challenges of playing an after Christmas bowl game? And obviously there's distractions along the way, from finals to going home for Christmas. And I guess what do you preach into your offensive guys in order how to handle it? And when they do go home for Christmas, are they free, or do you kind of just remind them they got the Fiesta Bowl afterwards?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think obviously you want to play in the bowl game that's after Christmas. I mean, that's the goal. I feel like that's the way that college football is designed. You want to play in those big games. I mean, that's what we work for all year. And so, I think good thing about this is especially with our coaching staff. Coach Harsin, starting with our head coach, he's played in a lot of games after Christmas. Myself, I've played in, I believe, 3 in a row. This will be the 4th one I've played in around the same time. And I think the big thing is it is nice to kind of we're going to work our tails off till the 23rd. I mean, we're going to give everything we got. We're going to practice fast and practice hard, practice physically, which we did today. But then come the 26th when we report to Phoenix, it's business. Now those 3 days that they get with their families, we want them to be able to sit back and take in the time with their family and recharge a little bit, which is kind of nice. It almost kind of feels like a bye in a sense. So I think that's some good rest that they get, and you're fresh for the game.
You're obviously in the news a little bit ago. What was it about this place that you see yourself being here long term, and the reason you're committed to Boise State?
I think the biggest thing is we're just getting started. I think this like I've said before. I mean, this has been a place that I've dreamed about coaching at since I got done playing here, and a little bit before that, to be honest. So, I think we're just it's only year one. We all as a staff, myself as a play caller, we're all improving every week, and we've had our ups and we've had our downs, but I think when you think about what this program can be and where we can take this thing with player development, with recruiting, I mean, this is a very exciting time for the program, and what a great time to be here. And also you have loyalty to the kids and the players that are a part of this program. You have loyalty to Coach Harsin for bringing me here, and that's the most important thing, is what we have a chance to do going forward, which I think can be outstanding. I think we have tremendous potential. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, but we're going to have to work every year. We're going to have to work every day in recruiting and player development to continue to get better.
This is the time of year that the big conference schools start throwing money around. And is it going to be hard for Boise State to be able to hang on to coaches like when you guys have this kind of success? Is it going to be a challenge every year, do you think, to keep this together?
It's certainly nothing new, and it's nothing new to this program. I think this program has had some of the best coaches. I feel very privileged and fortunate to be a part of the tradition of coaching here at Boise State, and it dates back more than the last 10, 15 years, and this dates back to some guys that have gone through here that are just tremendous offense and defensive minds. And I think the thing that Boise State's always done is Boise State wants to be playing in that Final Four playoff championship type game. And I think that you look back at the guys that have left this program, there's been some success, there's been some failures, there's just always going to be the ups and downs of that. But I think everybody, no matter if you leave or stay or come back or whatever it may be, I think everybody realizes this is a very special place, and I've been able to see that having had a chance to play here and now coach here.
Heard you guys have called Jeremy McNichols. You've given his position a name, the weapon or something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's the weapon right now. And the thing that's fun about him is that he was trained as a tailback, was recruited by Utah as a wide receiver. Gets individual with both position groups. Even gets some meeting time with both position groups, and then we cater his role week to week and really have a menu for him where we almost have his own little mini playbook, and it changes week to week. And when the guy's averaging 10.3 yards a touch, and as I think both in the passing game and the running game, he's averaging right around 10 yards per touch, and that's a dynamic player. That's a guy that we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job of getting him the ball more. It's just hard to take some of those touches away from number 27.
Does he have a backup, or is he a one-man position group?
Yeah, he's a one-man band. I mean, now in recruiting, you're trying to recruit some more weapons, and I think what's exciting, and we had a chance a little bit at Stanford to do some of that stuff with a guy like Barry J. Sanders, young Barry, and this year they're doing it with Christian McCaffrey. A couple big names there, but the thing that's fun about it is you have a chance in recruiting to talk about a potential role as a true freshman that's really catered to their skill set, and then you can see where that may lead their career. And I think Jeremy has shown that he could potentially be a really, really good tailback here. But then you've already cross-trained him a little bit as a receiver, and now you can utilize that skill set out there on the perimeter.
And that's still his future, right? To be a tailback down the road.
I believe so. And I think he's earned the right to be a guy going into spring that's right there in the thick of a position battle there to be getting a lot of touches.
How was practice today with finals finishing up? How was the energy, and I guess how's the prep gone after you guys got back from recruiting and stuff?
It was good. It was okay. I think we started out very fast. I think that we just have to. I think we have to understand. When our time is here, the time between 3 and 5 o'clock when we hit this turf. I mean, it's all football. And they did a good job of that, but. I think just getting back into the rhythm of it. Obviously, the most important thing right now is to get above a 3.0. That's what everybody's trying to do, and hopefully we're back in that 60, 65 player range above a 3.0 because we stress it on a daily basis. And but when you are on the grass, it's time to be here now and have that mentality of I'm trying to get ready to play one of the best teams in the country.
You miss those days cramming for the finals?
No, not so much. not so much. If I had a chance to get a mulligan, I'd go back to college and try to do it all over again. Could have been better.
Bowl season, you always hear talk about momentum for next season, and Boise State's 3 Fiesta Bowls were all after losing the bowl game the year before. Is there much carryover from a bowl game into the next season?
I don't really think so necessarily. I mean, I think no matter what, you got to hit the reset button after a season. Now, obviously, in terms of program development, winning a Fiesta Bowl against a team like Arizona goes extremely far, and going into a recruit's home. As a Fiesta Bowl champion, that goes very far. So I think it has some big time program momentum. But in terms of your team, you got to hit the reset button. You win or lose, you got to beat the guys back down and make them realize that happened because of a whole heck of a lot of hard work, and we're gonna have to put in even more work because we'll be the hunted team in the conference.
In some ways, is it easier to hit the reset button if you didn't get what you wanted and sort of use that chip on your shoulder, like we got to work harder, we got to do this to go get what we want, versus sort of being that team on top?
Yeah, I think it may be easier, and I think that served a purpose for us coming in with the new staff. I mean, the season didn't quite end the way that they wanted it to, both in the conference race and also obviously in the Hawaii Bowl. So I just don't want to have to go through that. So everything that we do is to put ourselves in position to compete and do everything we can to find a way to win this game, which is going to be a big challenge.
Have you guys taken any time to? I mean, now that you guys have reached the Fiesta Bowl, make sure the message is that you guys are going to go there and compete more, or anything like that. I mean, you haven't reached the final goal yet, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's we talked about for the last 6 weeks. We said our number one goal, even when everybody's talking about this bowl game, our number one goal is to win the Mountain West Conference Championship. We've accomplished that, but the second part of our goal, which is really, we've just achieved 50% of our goal as a team. The second part of our goal is to win a bowl game and to finish the year as bowl game champions, wherever that may be. And obviously this is as good a destination as you can find out there in the bowl season. So we're 50% to our goal, and everybody realizes that we have to have a win-or-no mentality just like we have all year. And this game's no different. We have to get back into our rhythm, get back into our routine of what we do, but doing it a little bit better. And that's what we're going to have to do.
I know that you talk about how much this program obviously means to you. They've been to the Fiesta Bowl twice, and now this is you have a chance to make your mark on a Fiesta Bowl team here at Boise State. You've been to, this will be your 4th straight, but your first as a Bronco. Does that mean anything more to you or in any way?
It does. I think about the Fiesta Bowls when I was coaching other places. Boise State's playing in the Fiesta Bowl. It was a little bit different, even as an alum or as a fan. And I think, but the great thing about it is the legacy is really on this 2014 football season and this team. And this team's unique, and it's different than the 06 team. It's different than the 09 team. And I do think that our goal and our aim is to try to etch our own legacy and create our own legacy, which to this point we've done a good job of, but there's some unfinished business left. And at the end of the day, players make plays, and those guys are going to go out there and make plays for us, and the players are going to win the games. And we as coaches just got to do our best job to put those guys in position, and truly give them a great plan, and practice that plan with precision leading up to December 31st.
Their other big playmaker on defense, Tavis, obviously very familiar name around here.
Yeah.
How do they use him? I know they've got 3 different kinds of safeties back there. How do they use him, and what's made him as productive as he's been?
No, they're just extremely smart football players, savvy, tough. Likes to play around the box, comes down there and is kind of their boundary safety, and he does a great job forcing, in the run game as a force player. A guy's a good tackler. He has a good nose for the football. It's almost like he's a Scooby Wright type, player from a mentality standpoint and a intelligence and FBI football intelligence standpoint. He's just playing on the back end. And for him, I mean, I remember him in the recruiting process a couple of years ago, and he's turned into being a fine football player, and he's obviously he knows our program really well, and probably has a lot of respect for our program, just like we have a ton of respect for what his brother did here and what he's done so far in that program.
Did you hit up Aaron for any advice?
No, not yet. So.